Hi friends, Allie here. In today's tutorial, we will be making the bulky Love to Cuddle pillow. This pattern creates a 16-inch by 16-inch pillow cover that features a large heart in the center and a contrasting background. We'll be using the intarsia crochet technique where we will be picking up and dropping bobbins of yarn to create our heart picture. You can use regular yarn for your heart or make it extra cuddly by subbing in faux fur yarn. Before we get started, don't forget to check out the links down below to get all the supplies needed for this project. You can also find the links to the free pattern on my blog as well as the ad-free easy-to-print PDF available in my Etsy shop and on Ravelry. If you're ready to get started, let's head over to our supply list and let's get making. For today's tutorial, you will need a bulky 5-weight yarn split up into 4 bobbins. This is color A, which we will use for the back panel and the background color. I'll be using Lion brand Color Made Easy. For color B, which is the heart, you can use either more bulky 5-weight yarn in a contrasting color or faux fur yarn like Lion brand Go for Faux, and we'll need to split up color B into 2 bobbins. For today, I will be using more bulky 5-weight yarn, so I'll be using Lion brand Color Made Easy in a contrasting color for my heart, just so you can see my stitches better, but feel free to use either more bulky 5-weight yarn or faux fur yarn for the heart. Other supplies that you will need is a 6.5mm or K hook, a yarn needle, scissors, and a 16-inch by 16-inch pillow insert. So to start off our pillow cover, we are going to start with color A. And now the back panel and the front panel both start off the same. So I'm not going to repeat the instructions from the beginning for both, so we're just going to do them all at once. So once you finish your back panel, come back to do the front panel to repeat up to row 10. That's where our back panel is just going to keep repeating, and then the front panel, that's where the color changing will stop. So they're both going to start off the same using color A. So if you're on your back panel, you're going to want to use bobbin A1, and if you're on your front panel now, you're going to want to use bobbin A2. So both panels are going to start off with a foundation single crochet. Now if you don't want to use a foundation single crochet, you can just do a regular foundation chain and then single crochet back into it for your first row. So if you are going to do that, you'll want to chain 45 stitches, 45 chains, and then single crochet into the second chain from the hook and single crochet across so that you have 44 single crochets across. So I'm going to use a foundation single crochet because then that takes away one of the steps of doing an extra row. So to do a foundation single crochet, we're going to start with a slip knot. And you're going to chain 2, and then working in the second chain from the hook, you're going to insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through the first loop on your hook. So that just created a chain right there. So that's our foundation chain right there. And now we're going to yarn over and pull through both loops on our hook. So essentially what we just did is we worked our foundation chain and our first row of single crochets all in one. So that just took away that whole first step of making a long chain and then single crocheting back into it. We're just working that chain and the single crochets at the same time. So now comes the tricky part. So if you are having a hard time doing this, you might want to grab a stitch marker and just mark where we worked that chain. So now we're going to be working back into that chain that we made. So insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through that first loop on your hook. So there's that chain again. So that's where we're going to work our next stitch. And then to finish our single crochet, you're going to yarn over and pull through both loops on your hook. So far we have 2 foundation single crochets. So now we're just going to repeat this across until we have a total of 44. So going back into that chain that we worked, making sure to go through 2 loops there. Pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through the first loop on your hook to create that chain, yarn over, pull through both loops on your hook. So there we have 3. So if you find this a little bit tricky, you can just pause the video here and just keep practicing. I promise the more that you practice, the easier it does get. But I do know at the beginning when you're just learning, it is a little bit tricky. So feel free to use a stitch marker or anything you need to help mark your spot. So I'm just going to continue across until I have a total of 44 foundation single crochets. So I just finished row 1, which is my foundation single crochet. So I have a total of 44 foundation single crochets. So when you reach the end of the row, you're going to chain 1 and turn. Now the chain 1 at the end of each row does not count as a stitch. So I'm going to turn my work. And now if you are on your back panel, all you're going to do for rows 2 all the way to the end of row 48 is you're just going to single crochet into each stitch across, chain 1, turn, and single crochet across into the next row. So you're just going to repeat that all the way to the end of row 48. And now after working a few rows, you might also want to check to make sure that your size is right. So you want to make sure that this is about 16 inches across, because that's the size of our pillow insert. Now it will stretch a bit, so if it's between 15 and 16 inches, that's good. If it's any more than 16 inches though, it might be a little bit too baggy. So you might need to go down a hook size. So maybe just measure after you've worked a couple rows to make sure that your size is right. So I'm going to continue on working. So if you're on your back panel, you just keep working single crochets into each stitch across, chain 1 and turn. If you are on your front panel, we are going to do the same thing, except we're only going to go to row 10. So I'm going to single crochet into each stitch across, chain 1, turn, and I'm going to repeat that until I get to the end of row 10, and then we're going to start our color changes for our front panel. So if you're in your back panel, just keep repeating this, and then when you get to the end of row 48, you're going to tie off your yarn, leaving just enough of a tail to weave in, and then you are going to start on your front panel. So I'm going to carry on here, and I'm going to stop at the end of row 10, and I'm going to show you how to finish off your front panel. So I just came up to the end of row 10, and this is what we're looking like so far. Mine measures about 15.5 inches across, which is perfect. It still has a lot of stretch into it, so it's going to fit on my pillow insert nicely. And now if you are on your back panel, then just keep repeating until you get to the end of row 48, and then you can tie off and start on your front panel. So now we're going to start our front panel. To be honest with you, if you don't want to make a back panel, you can make 2 front panels so that both your front and your back have a heart on them. The only difference is it's going to change how much yarn you're going to need for each color, but that's what I'm doing actually. For this one, I'm going to use the regular yarn for my heart, and then I already have another panel made that has a faux fur heart, so feel free to do that too if you want a heart on both sides. So now we're going to start adding in our heart. So I'm at the end of row 10, so I have already chained 1, and now I'm going to turn. So what we're going to do is we are going to single crochet 21 across with our color A. So we're going to single crochet 21 across. So I'm on my 21st stitch, and I'm going to start my single crochet as normal, but I'm not going to do that final pull through. I'm going to drop my working yarn and then pick up my bobbin B1, so my first bobbin of my heart color. And before I change colors, we just want to make sure, take note of what side we're on. So our panels are each going to Our panel is going to have a wrong side and a right side. So the right side is going to be facing out, and the wrong side is going to be facing in. So we want to make sure all of our ends are on our wrong side, so they're going to be hidden inside the pillow. So we are on row 11, so this is the right side of our work. So I'm going to drop this tail end behind me, and then when I pick up my other bobbin, so now I'm grabbing whatever color you're using for your heart. I'm going to grab my first bobbin for that. I'm going to leave a couple inch tail at the end, and then I'm going to pull through with my new color. So pull through with my new color, and then I'm going to work 1 single crochet with my new color into the next stitch. So making sure you're using your new color. And we only have to work one stitch with this color. So again, I'm going to start my single crochet as normal, but then I'm going to finish off that last pull through with my next bobbin. So this is just going to be the very tip of our heart. So I'm going to drop this color, and now I'm going to pick up my bobbin A3, which is our next bobbin of our background color. So again, leave a couple inch long tail at the end. Make sure all your ends are on the opposite side. Pull through with our new color. And now with our new bobbin, I am going to work 22 single crochets across with our background color. So 22 single crochets across. Okay, so I'm at the end of row 11, and this is what we're looking like so far. So far we just have made the tip of our heart, and we should have 3 bobbins going. So the biggest thing you want to make sure when you're working with bobbins is to keep them organized. So right now we only have 3 attached, but we're going to have to add more later, and the more you have, the easier it is for them to get tangled. So what I like to do is have them just right in front of me. Let me put them under the camera here and in a row. So at the end of each row, I usually organize my bobbins, because every time you turn your work, they're going to get tangled again. So at the end of each row, I just reorganize them, and then I just have them up right in front of me, usually a little bit further back. And then when I turn my work, so at the end of row 11, I'm going to chain 1 and turn my work. So when I turn them, they get all tangled. So I just reorganize to make sure they're in a nice straight line. So now we're on to row 12, and we're on the wrong side of our work. So all these little tail ends are going to be on the wrong side of our work. So for row 11, starting with our yarn that's over here already, we are going to single crochet 21 across. So I'm on the 21st single crochet, so I'm going to start the single crochet as normal, but not do that final pull through, because now we're going to change to our heart colored bobbin. So now that we're on our wrong side, instead of leaving this tail end behind me, I'm going to bring it over in front of me so that it stays on the wrong side. So bring it in front of you and then tuck it away, because now we are going to move back to our B1 bobbin, and using this color we are going to single crochet 3 across. So do that final pull through with your B1 bobbin and then single crochet into the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. On this third one, since we're going to change bobbins again, we're going to start our single crochet as normal, but we are going to drop this bobbin and then pick up the next one. So again, drop in front of you, tuck that away, and then we're going to pick up our A3 bobbin, finish that final pull through, and then we are going to single crochet into the next 20 stitches. So all the way across, we're going to finish off with our A3 bobbin. Okay, I'm coming up to the end of row 12, so this is what we're looking like right now. I'm going to chain 1 and turn my work. As I turn, I'm going to reorganize all of my bobbins. And now we are on to row 13, so we're back to our right side. So we are going to single crochet 19 across, and then we're going to change our colors and go 5 across with our B1 bobbin, and then pick up our A3 bobbin and finish back across. So I'm on my 19th single crochet with my A2 bobbin. So I'm going to, on that last pull through, I'm going to drop that bobbin, and then I'm going to pick up my B1 bobbin, and then I'm going to finish off that single crochet with the new bobbin, and then I'm going to single crochet into the next 5 stitches with my B1 bobbin. On that 5th single crochet, I'm going to start my single crochet as normal, but I'm going to drop that bobbin and then pick up my A3 bobbin. And then I'm going to single crochet all the way across. I'm at the end of row 13. This is what we're looking like so far. So now we're going to chain 1 and turn and move on to row 14. So I think you guys are kind of getting the idea of what we're doing here. So I'm going to kind of speed through each row so that this video isn't like 3 hours long. So I hope you guys get the idea, but we're going to go through, I'm going to tell you what to do each row, and then I'm just going to meet back up with you at the end of each row. So just remember before you start a new row, reorganize your bobbins, and then make sure any tail ends you have, you're always putting your tail ends on the wrong side of your work, not the front side of your work. So now we are on to row 14. So I'm going to single crochet 19 with the yarn I have attached now, 19, and then we're going to work 7 with the heart bobbin, and then we are going to work 18 with the final bobbin. Okay, so at the end of row 14, I'm going to chain 1 and turn, reorganize my bobbins. We're now on the right side of our work. And for row 15, we are going to work 17 across with our first bobbin, and then we're going to work 9 across with our second bobbin, and then we're going to work 18 across with our third bobbin. So I'm at the end of row 15, and this is what we're looking like so far. So I'm going to chain 1 and turn, reorganize my bobbins, and for row 16, I'm going to work 17 single crochets with my first bobbin, 11 with my second bobbin, and then 16 with my last bobbin. So this is what we're looking like at the end of row 16. So I'm going to chain 1 and turn. Now for row 17, we are going to do 15 of our color A, then we'll do 13 color B, and then 16 color A. So I'm at the end of row 17. This is what we're looking like. I'm going to chain 1, and now on to row 18. So for row 18, I'm going to work 15 color A, 15 color B, and then 14 color A. I'm at the end of row 18, so I'm going to chain 1 and turn. For row 19, I'm going to work 3 with color A, 17 with color B, and then 14 with color A. Okay, I just finished up row 19. I'm going to chain 1 and turn. For row 20, I'm going to work 13 with color A, 19 with color B, and then 12 with color A. Okay, I'm at the end of row 20. Chain 1 and turn. For row 21, I'm going to work 11 with color A, 21 with color B, and then 12 with color A. Okay, I'm at the end of row 21. This is what we're looking like so far. I'm going to chain 1 and turn. Now on to row 22. I'm going to work 11 with color A, 23 with color B, and then 10 with color A. So I just finished row 2, so this is what we're looking like. I'm going to chain 1 and turn. Now we're back to the right side. Organize my bobbins. Now for row 23, we are going to work 9 with color A, 25 with color B, and then 10 with color A again. Okay, we just finished row 23, chain 1, turn. Now on to row 24, we are going to work 9 with color A, 27 with color B, and then 8 with color A again. So I just finished row 24, so I'm going to chain 1 and turn. Now on to row 25, I'm going to work 7 with color A, 29 with color B, and then 8 with color A. Okay, so I just finished row 25, chain 1 and turn. Now for row 26, I'm going to work 7 with color A, 31 with color B, and then 6 with color A. So I just reached the end of row 26, chain 1 and turn. Now for row 27, we're going to work 5 with color A, then 33 with color B, and then 6 with color A again. So I just finished row 27, now we're on to row 28, and now for the next 3 rows, we are going to be keeping our heart the same width, so the heart is going to continue being 33 stitches with color B. So that's for the next 3 rows. So I'm going to chain 1 and turn. Now we're on to row 28. Oops. So for row 28, we're going to be working 6 with color A, 33 with color B, and then 5 with color A again. Okay, so I just finished row 28, so I'm going to chain 1 and turn. Now onto row 29, we are going to work 5 with color A, 33 with color B, and then 6 with color A again. So I'm just at the end of row 29, and this is what we're looking like. I actually ran out of my color A bobbin right here, so I just reattached another one right there. And now we're going to work 1 more row, so I'm going to chain 1 and turn. We're going to work 1 more row before we start splitting our heart at the top to make those 2 bumps at the top of the heart. So we're going to work 1 more row. So for this one, for row 30, we are going to work 6 with color A, 33 with color B, and then 5 with color A. So I just finished row 30, so I'm going to chain 1 and turn. And now we're on to row 31. So this is where we're going to start to split our heart, and that means we're going to add our last 2 bobbins. So we're going to be working with 5 bobbins this row. So we're going to start with our A bobbin right here, and we are going to work 5 single crochets across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to change to our color B bobbin right here. and we are going to work 16 across. So I'm on the 16th stitch, so I'm going to drop my yarn before I finish off that last stitch, and then I'm going to pick up my last color A bobbin. So this is going to be my A4 bobbin, and we're just going to do one single crochet with this stitch. So I'm going to pull through there, and then I'm going to do one single crochet in the next stitch, except I'm going to change colors again. So I'm not going to finish off that last pull through with this color. I'm going to drop this one, and then I'm going to pick up my last color B bobbin. So we're going to attach our last color B bobbin. So this is our B2 bobbin. Pull through with the B, and then we are going to single crochet 16 across with color B. And on that 16th stitch, I'm going to drop color B and pick up our color A bobbin on the end and finish off the row. So there should be 6 stitches left, so we'll do those last 6 stitches with color A. So this is how row 31 is looking. So from now on, we have a color A bobbin here, B here, A here, B, and then A. So now we have 5 working bobbins. So now more than ever, make sure you keep your bobbins organized. So I'm going to chain 1 and turn, reorganize all of my bobbins. Okay, now we're on to row 32. So for row 32, we are going to work 6 with color A, 15 with color B, 3 with color A, 15 with color B, and then 5 with color A. So I'm at the end of row 32, so I'm going to chain 1 and turn. Organize all of my bobbins. Now we're on to row 33, so we're going to work 5 with color A, 14 with color B, 5 with color A, 14 with color B, and then 6 with color A. So I just finished row 33, and this is what it's looking like so far. So it's definitely becoming more heart-shaped. So now we are on to row 34. Then chain 1 and turn. So for row 34, we're going to work 7 with color A, 12 with color B, 7 with color A, 12 with color B, and then 6 with color A. So I just reached the end of row 34, so I'm going to chain 1 and turn. Now we're on to row 35, so we're going to work 7 with color A, 10 with color B, 9 with color A, 10 with color B, and then 8 with color A. Okay, we just finished row 35, so we're going to chain 1 and turn. And we only have 3 more rows left of our heart. So now we are on to row 36, so we're going to work 9 with color A, 8 with color B, 11 with color A, 8 with color B, and then 8 with color A. So I just finished row 36, chain 1 and turn. Now we're on to row 37. For row 37, we're going to work 9 with color A, 6 with color B, 13 with color A, 6 with color B, and then 10 with color A. So I just finished row 37, so chain 1 and turn, and we just have 1 more row left with our heart in it, and then we're just going to finish off the rest of the pattern with color A. So for row 38, we're going to work 11 with color A, 4 with color B, 15 with color A, 4 with color B, and then 10 with color A. Okay, so I just reached the end of row 38. So now we're all done the heart part. So that means we can cut off all of our other bobbins. We're just going to leave the color A bobbin that we're still working on right now, and that's gonna finish off the rest of the pillow. So we can cut off all of our other bobbins. So I like to leave like an inch or 2 left of each strand. And then since this is going to be on the inside of the pillow, you can weave these in if you want, or you can just leave them as they are. If I ever have 2 that are right beside each other, I'll just tie those together. If you think this pillow is going to get pulled on or anything, I would weave your ends in, but I usually just leave mine like that, and they don't ever fall out or anything. So now I'm going to chain 1 and turn. So now we're on to row 39, and now for the rest of the pattern, so rows 39 all the way to the end of row 48, we are just going to single crochet with color A all the way across. When you get to the end of the row, you're going to chain 1 and turn, and then just keep repeating. So 1 single crochet in each stitch across, so that's a total of 44 single crochets across, all with color A, and we're just going to do that to the end of row 48. So I'm just going to continue on doing that, and I'm going to catch up with you guys when I get to the end of row 48, and I'll show you how to finish off your pillow. So I just reached the end of row 48, so our panel here is done. So it should be about 16 inches tall. If it's a little bit less than that, that's fine because it will stretch out. So now we're going to attach our front panel and our back panel together, and I'm going to leave my yarn attached here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to single crochet around both panels, so you're going to be able to see the border around it. So if you want to change the color of your yarn, you can definitely do that. I'm going to leave mine with this color, but if you do change the color, just note that it is going to show around the edge of it. So you can do the heart color, you can just keep this attached, or you can add a whole new color. Just note that it is going to be able to be seen. So I'm going to leave mine attached, and I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to just set this aside for a second, and I'm going to grab my other panel. So this would be your back panel. I actually did 2 front panels for mine, so this is what it looks like if you use the fuzzy yarn. So I have 2 front panels I'm using, so mine's double-sided. So if yours is just a back panel that's just plain, that's fine. And we want our right sides facing out and our wrong sides facing in. So right now we want our wrong side facing us right now, and we're going to put our front panel on top of it so that the wrong sides are facing each other and that the right sides are facing out. Yeah, I lost my hook. So just like this, so our right sides should be on the outside, our wrong sides should be on the inside. So I'm gonna just find where my yarn is attached, so over in this right hand corner. And what we're gonna do is we're going to single crochet all the way around. So in each stitch across, in each row down, in each stitch across the bottom, and then in each row up. Now to make turning the corners a little bit easier, a little bit smoother, we're gonna work 2 single crochets into each corner. So at the end, we should have a total of 188 stitches around. That's 1 in each stitch in each row around, and then 2 in each corner. So we're gonna start by working up the top. So I'm gonna insert my hook into this first stitch here, and then into the first stitch on the back. So you're gonna be working in a total of 4 loops, making sure you're always working in both panels and in the same stitch of each panel to make sure they line up right. So I'm gonna work across. So I'm gonna do my 2 single crochets in the corner at the end. So right now I'm just gonna work 1 single crochet into each stitch across. And then I'm gonna catch up with you guys when I hit the corner, and I'll show you where to work the 2 in the corner. So for right now, we're just gonna work a regular single crochet in each stitch across. Make sure you're not doing your single crochets too tight because we don't want to cinch up our pillow at all. We want it to be a border around. Don't want it too tight. So try and make your stitches a little bit looser, making sure you're working into both panels. We're just going to work 1 single crochet across in each stitch across. So I have just 1 stitch left. So in this very last stitch, I'm going to work 2 single crochets, and then I'm going to turn my cover 90 degrees like so, and now we're going to be working down the side of our pillow, and we are going to be working 1 single crochet into each row down. So we had a total of 48 rows, so that means you want to work 48 single crochets down. So I just reached the end of this row, so I am now in the bottom left-hand corner of my pillow. So I just worked 48 stitches across. Now I'm going to turn my pillow again, so now we're at the bottom. Now we're going to work a single crochet into each stitch across the bottom, except we're going to work 2 single crochets in the very first stitch and 2 single crochets in the very last stitch. So we should have a total of 46 single crochets for the bottom. So make sure again you're working in both the front panel and the back panel. Work 2 single crochets to the first stitch, and then we're going to work 1 single crochet into each stitch across, and then 2 single crochets into the last stitch. So I just have 1 stitch left of this row, so I'm going to work 2 single crochets into this last stitch. 1, 2, and then we're going to turn our pillow 1 last time to get that last edge. So now we want to insert our pillow insert. I have a tail end here, so I'm just going to hide that on the inside, and I'm going to grab my pillow insert and put that in. So this is just a 16 by 16 pillow insert. You can get them at any craft store, or you can get them online at Amazon. I'll leave a link in the description box on where you can find one. So just insert your pillow insert. I'm doing mine off camera because I cannot fit it under there. Okay, so once your pillow insert is in, we are going to single crochet all the way up the side of our pillow. We are going to work 1 single crochet into each row up, so that's a total of 48. So I reached the corner of my last corner of my pillow. So I'm going to now turn my pillow back around, and going back into that very first stitch that we worked in, we are going to work another single crochet. So that will make it 2 into that first corner. Make sure you're getting into both panels. Work 1 more single crochet into that corner, and then we are going to slip stitch into the very first single crochet we had made just to tie off our pillow. So we're going to slip stitch, chain 1, and then I'm going to tie off my yarn, leaving a 4 to 6 inch tail, long enough that you're going to be able to weave it in. Cut that off. Take your hook and just pull that through, and then pull that tight, and then grab your yarn needle, and you're just gonna sew in this tail end. So if you have a plain back panel, you can weave it in on the back side, but since I have 2 front panels, I'm just going to kind of weave it in around the border. And since my yarn matches, it's the same color, you're not going to be able to see it anyway, so it doesn't matter. Okay, and then when you're all done weaving it in, you can cut off any excess yarn you have. And there we go. There is our Love to Cuddle pillow. Thank you so much for following along. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and follow the Turtle Trunk on Instagram and Facebook. You can find this pattern and many more free patterns on my blog, whoshomemade.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.